Good morning and welcome to Inner Balance Qigong. We're going to start today rubbing the hands together just to detect the qi in the hands, and then we're going to explore another movement beyond that called Dragon Ball before we do our breath practice. Bringing the palms of the hands together at about solar plexus height, and you want to keep your elbows in fairly near the body, not pinched. But if they're out, then that puts tension in the shoulder. So we want to let the elbows relax in near the body. We're standing in our typical horse stance, and we'll simply gaze at the hands and start to rub the palms together, back and forth. So your fingertips are moving away from you and back towards you, or the heel of the hand is moving back towards you. And observe the breath, allow it to flow freely, sinking the shoulders away from the ears. Feel the warmth generating in the hands. And here we might separate the fingers and rub between them. And then the other set of fingers will now be on top. And then continue to rub just the palm sides of your hands. And then pause with the eyes closed or gazing at the hands. Note any sensation that you may be detecting within the fingers, the palms, the heels of the hands, and anywhere else in the body that you may be noticing it. Now we're going to rub the hands a little bit more. And here we're going to start to let the palms separate slightly, then the heels of the hands, then the fingers. And we're going to place the left hand on top of the right. And we'll go slowly with this, and I'll turn and give you the visual from a couple of different angles. But we're going to start to bring the lower hand out and up as the top hand comes back and down. And the fingertips of the top hand are going to have to turn up. And then we turn the hands so that we're always keeping our hands on this ball of energy that we're holding. So there's a pivot in the wrist to keep your hand in contact with the outer circumference of the ball. And you can start to, if you're standing, you can pivot your hips a little bit here, get the shoulders rolling as well. And we're gradually going to make the ball larger. So the hands just get farther and farther away. And you might need to turn your body in order to be able to still hold the ball without running into your body. And you can get the ball as big as it can go, still seeming like it's a ball. And then just pause where you are. And then you're going to go the opposite way. So the other hand is going forward and around. And we'll continue to expand the ball. And keep your eyes on your hands, or just between them, so you can kind of see them peripherally, and be present to the sensation, any awareness of the qi in your hands. Now we're going to condense the ball again, bring it back down into a more manageable size, and gradually bring your hands to stillness. And let's let the other hand be on top this time. And then we'll allow the hands to separate and come back to facing each other. And slowly close your hands toward one another without letting them touch. Get them as close as possible, and then expand the ball of chi. It's like you're stretching a ball of dough or some silly putty or taffy. Inhale as you stretch out. Exhale as you condense in. And you may notice some connectivity between the hands, or as they come closer together, it might feel like there's something pushing them away from each other. There's a bit of resistance or a repulsion. And as they get farther away, it might feel like there's a magnetic pull to have them come closer together. And then we'll explore this just one more time. Inhaling, expand out, exhale this time. Let the palms of the hands come together. And then one more time, we'll separate. Inhaling, exhale, release the hands down. That was called Dragon Ball. And now we're going to let the hands rest alongside the body. This will be a breath practice called Embrace the Sky. And we're going to, so you could be standing or seated for any of these. Inhale, arms start to float up to about shoulder height. Exhale, flip your palms up and let your elbows drop slightly. Inhale, arms rise all the way up above the head, palms facing your head. Exhale, direct the energy flow down through the head, the neck, chest, abdomen, pelvis, and the hands release by your sides again. They rise. Exhale, palms up, drop slightly. Inhale, gathering this big ball of chi above your head, and then condensing it and directing it down, illuminating every cell in the body with this light, this energy. And you just keep going. And you can, if you wish, if you're standing, as the hands descend, you can bend your knees a little bit more and sink down. And as the arms rise, you rise. Palms up, arms sink, bend the knees a little bit more, rise and extend the legs. Or simply do the arm movements. And we'll explore 2 more cycles. Direct the energy down to the lower dantian, just below the navel. Observe how the body feels. Now we're going to explore a sequence called lubricating the joints. And this also may be explored seated. If you are seated, I would invite you to sit toward the front of the chair and get your feet directly underneath your knees so you have a good solid foundation in your lower body. If you have shoes on, this part might not work for you, but the rest of it will. If you're in bare feet, you're going to shift the weight to the right leg, and then you're going to lift the heel so the tip of your big toe is touching maybe the second toe, and then tuck the toes under. So you're now on the nail side of your toes. And I have to say, this might feel a little uncomfortable, but we're going to roll around on the nail side of the toes. So you're also circling the ankle. There's some movement in the knee and the hip as well. And just be present to the breath, make sure it's flowing freely. Now just go the opposite direction with the toes. You're on the nail side of your toes. And then pause and place the foot and bring your awareness into your foot and notice how the toes feel on the left side in relation to the right. Now we'll shift and do the same thing on the other side. This is also challenging the balance a little bit. So if you want to bring your arms a little farther away from your body for support or stability, you can do so. Switch directions if you haven't already. And we'll finish and place the foot out. Again, bring your awareness into your feet and notice how the toes feel. Now we're going to turn the heels in and the toes out. And we're going to be shifting the weight to the right side first and lifting the left heel off the floor. And then place it down, and we're going to do the same on the other side. So we've done this before when we're dissipating the turbid qi in the lower body. We're stretching the plantar fascia on the soles of the feet. So if you've ever experienced plantar fasciitis, a way to elongate those tissues and create more flexibility in the region of the sole of the foot. And we'll complete the cycle and place the foot down. Now we're going to lift the left heel and we're going to roll around on the ball of the foot. The ball of your foot is kind of a kidney shape, more or less, and it's an oval, and you're rolling around the circumference or the perimeter of that oval. You'll feel movement in the ankle, the knee, and the hip. And then we're going to go in the opposite direction. One more revolution, place the heel, same thing on the other side. Reverse direction. And release. Now we'll turn the feet parallel again. And here we're going to be moving through some range of motion in the knees. So you'll just take it to a level that feels comfortable for you. We're going to slide the hands down to the kneecaps. You can look at your feet. We're going to shift the knees to the left and then bend them a little bit more and shift them to the right and then straighten them without locking them, and then go to the left again and just keep going around in this circular motion. Use the breath to support the movement. And then pause and go in the opposite direction. Finish the cycle you're on and come back so your knees are slightly bent, and then tuck the tailbone, chin to chest, and slowly begin to roll up the spine. Now we're going to explore some movement in the hips. Here you might want to have a chair nearby because this is also going to challenge the balance. We're going to first start by shifting the weight to the right side, and you can bring your arms a little bit away from your body or have your chair nearby. And we're going to inhale and extend the leg forward, lifting the heel as high as you can. It could just be, ever so slightly off the floor. And then swing the foot back as far as you can. And then same thing. You can even slide your foot along the floor, just to have a little bit greater balance. Just knocked my plant there. And gazing at the floor out ahead of you is a good plan, also to help keep your balance. Finish the cycle you're on, and then step your foot out and bring your awareness into this side of the body. Notice how it feels. All right, so shifting the weight, the leg is extended. Inhale, foot rises in front, and then behind. Complete one more cycle. And then step your foot out, weight is evenly distributed. We'll do the same thing again, only now the knee will be bent. So shift the weight to the right, and then inhale, knee rises as high as it will come comfortably, and then swing the leg back, leading with the foot, and the knee follows. Step your foot out. And of course, you can do as many cycles as feels good in your body. And we'll do the same thing now, other side. We're going to create a bit of rotation in the joint. And again, you may want to have your chair. This might be a bit less stable, adjust accordingly. We'll shift the weight to the right and lift the left heel off the floor. And then with the inhale, the knee rises, comes out to the side, goes back, and then comes through again. So you're drawing this big circle with your knee or your foot, all of the above. We'll explore one more cycle, and then you'll step your foot out. We'll lift and do the other side. Gazing at the floor. Allow the breath to support the movement. One more revolution, and stand with the weight evenly distributed. Now we're going to take the leg in the opposite direction. Start with lifting the heel again, and then the foot and the knee go back. Then they come out to the side and around front. And finish and step to the side. Prepare and get your foot going back. And complete that cycle. Now we're going to take a bit of a wider stance. And this is a little bit more action for the hips. Only now we're going to be focusing on the pelvic region, and we're going to shift the hips to the left and then push the bottom back and swing your hips around to the right. And then let the pubic bone go forward, come around, tailbones pushing back. And I'm getting a little snap, crackle, pop going in my body. Come around one more time, and then reverse the direction. And come back to neutral. And then you can sweep your hands away from your body and let them rest down alongside. Now we'll be working with the hands, the fingers first. The palms turn up, and I'll just come forward a bit so you can see maybe a little bit more clearly what we're doing here. We're going to be rolling first the pinky finger in toward the palm, then the ring, middle, first finger, and then make a fist. So your thumb comes over the top of the knuckles, and then expand them at the same time. And then roll in singly and expand all at once. And you'll find a rhythm that works for you, going as quickly as you can comfortably. And you can gaze at the hands or just between them, so you take them in peripherally. And then we'll do one more cycle, and palms turn down and let the hands settle down in front of you. Now, I'll just step back slightly, but stay fairly close. We're going to bring the palms so that they're face down, forearms parallel to the floor, and then just drop the fingers toward the earth. And then we're going to let the fingers turn toward one another up, and we're going to turn the palm away and then let them go down. So it's a range of motion here in the wrists. And take the movement as quickly as feels good for you. And we'll do one more, fingertips up, and then let them go the opposite direction. And we'll release and let the hands settle down. And with that one, you want to try to make sure that the elbows are stable and just the wrists are moving. We're going to get into the elbows now, and we're going to cross the left hand in front of the right as they rise. It's kind of the same action with your hands. So there is a bit of movement in the wrist, but we're also getting some hinging action in the elbows. Next time your hands are up, we're going to let the other hand come forward in front. I think. I'm not sure that that actually worked on my body, but the intention was there. You could even alternate, letting one hand go in front and then the other. And we'll do one more and release down. Now we're going to focus on the shoulders, and we'll let the palms turn away from each other. And with the inhale, the backs of the hands rise up, and the hands come up just above the head slightly, and then the arms go back behind you. Just see it from this angle. And you can, arch the back a little bit here. Shoulder blades come toward one another. Let's explore one more this direction. And release the arms to the sides. Now, for the next, we're going to turn the palms away. The hands go back behind. They start to rise up. They have to expand wider and then come down more in alignment with the shoulders. We'll finish this cycle and let the arms settle back down. Now we're going to focus on the rib case. And you could even place your hands on your ribs if you wanted to, or maybe to the top of your pelvis. And we're attempting to isolate the ribs. So the movement is going to be first lateral, side to side. Then we're going to get it going in a circular motion. And you just do the best you can. As with the hands on the hips here, it's probably more comfortable just because the shoulders can release more easily. We'll shift the ribs to the left, my right, back and forth. So the shoulder girdle is moving as well because everything's attached from the ribs up. Notice if you're holding your breath, you want to let that flow. And we'll finish and come back to stillness. Release the hands for a moment. All right, now we're going to create a revolution, a rotation. And we're really kind of spiraling the spine a little bit. We're going to shift the ribs to the left first, and then push back with the ribs. And then they go to the right, and then push them forward. So there's this gyration that's occurring. And here, really make sure that you're breathing, because if it's something we're doing that's kind of requires a lot of focus, sometimes we can forget to breathe. And we'll come around front, ribs protruding, and then go the opposite direction. Finish the cycle you're on and return to stillness. Inhale deeply, exhale, sweep the hands away from the body. Now we're going to be focusing on the neck. And here, if you know that you have some neck issues, you can simply do a neck movement that is going to feel good for you. But we're creating that circular motion that we did with the ribs with the head. I'll let you use your discretion to determine if this is going to feel good in your body, and you can try it and see and pause if it doesn't. So we're going to first shift the head. Actually, we'll do the head side to side first as we did the ribs. So it's a little sort of like Walk Like an Egyptian from the 80s. And so back and forth, then we'll come back to center, then shift to the left again, then push your head toward the back of the room, ear goes to the right, and nose juts forward, keeping your chin parallel to the floor as best you can. You might feel some tendons moving over one another, which might create this kind of popping sound, but it's okay. And then, I mean, as long as it doesn't hurt. And then now we're going to go in the other direction. Finish one more and come back to stillness. Now we're going to finish the rotation of sorts. We're going to be moving the eyes through space. And you can imagine that your head is, or your face is a clock face, and the top of your forehead is 12 o'clock and your chin is 6. And we'll simply start gazing at the horizon line to begin. And then with the next inhalation, start to raise your eyes up so you're looking up toward the top of your forehead. And then pick a direction, doesn't really matter which direction you go first, and let your eyes go around the circumference of the clock. So out toward the circumference of your face, following, it's like the second hand going around the dial, keeping the nose forward, finding a pace that works for you. Next time you come to 12 o'clock, pause, and then go the opposite direction. One more cycle. Come up to 12. Now, gazing up at the ceiling, close your eyes, and then slowly bring the focus down to the floor, keeping your chin parallel to the earth. So we give the eyes an opportunity to rest here. And then keeping your gaze toward the floor, slowly open the eyes. And then gradually allow your eyes to come back to the horizon line. We'll move on to some spinal breathing, and we're going to place the right hand on the lower dantian and the left hand on the solar plexus region. We're going to let the hands glide out toward the sides of the body as the elbows go back, and then the elbows and shoulders come up and the elbows go forward. And I'm going to turn sideways so you can see what it looks like from this angle. So the hands come out to the sides and elbows start to rise up, and we're going to round the spine forward, chin toward the chest. Let your knees go forward, your hips, your chest, and you can simply do this seated in a chair, keeping the lower body stable, although you want your pelvis to move as much as possible. That's what creates the undulation of the spine. We'll do one more cycle. And then Slowly roll up and let your hands fall back down to your sides. We'll do the same thing now with the lower hand where it was. The upper hand will be at the chest level. And notice if it feels like you might have a bit more range of motion with your arm a little higher up. And the same action again. So the hands come out toward the sides of the body or the armpit in the case of the upper arm, and then roll forward. And then knees go forward, hips and chest lifts, chin rises as you open along the front line. And then everything comes into flexion, condensing, stretching through the back line. And we'll explore one more cycle. Next time you're rolled forward, release your arms down and then slowly roll back up to a neutral spine. This next form is called throwing out the trash. And it will involve eventually rising to the balls of your feet. We'll first start with the feet flat, and then when we rise to the balls of the feet, that's going to challenge the balance. So if you're up there and you notice that your body's going forward, take a step forward. Let your body go in the direction that the momentum is carrying it. And then you'll release your heels from wherever you happen to be at that moment. Or if you're going back, just go in that direction. Because it's when we resist the natural flow that we wind up exaggerating or amplifying and potentially falling or injuring ourselves in some way. We're using the breath here, and we're going to imagine that whatever might be weighing on your heart or your mind, you're going to imagine that you're holding that in your hands. And you're going to slowly make a fist and then release your hands down. So we're going to inhale and bring the arms up. And with the exhalation, we're going to make a loud noise and fold forward and release the hands. It's like you're throwing everything that's in your hands down into the floor. And then inhale, make the fist again. You don't have to fold forward very far. Arms swing behind. Just let it go. One more. And then slowly let the hands sink down. Be present to how the body feels. Now we're going to do the same thing, only rising to the balls of the feet initially. If you would like, you can keep the heels down if that's more comfortable. On the inhale, we'll raise the hands up, gather whatever it is you might be holding on to. Exhale, make your fists. Inhale, exhale, release your hands down. Now we're going to inhale, slowly rise to the balls of the feet. Exhale, heels drop. Ha! Ha! Raise your arms all the way above your head. And with your next exhalation, direct the energy down to the lower dantian. Now we're going to explore some side bending action. On the inhale, hands come up slowly, make a fist at your shoulders. Exhale, swing your arms down and back behind you. Inhale, arms come all the way up, open the palms. Exhale, hinge to your left, and then let your arms swing down again past your body behind you. and then they'll come up. Inhale all the way up. Exhale, hinge to the other side, arms swing forward, down past your thighs, your knees behind you. Inhale and rise up. Same thing to the other side. You just hinge as far to the side as feels comfortable for you. Finish on the other side. Arms come all the way up again. And then next exhalation, slowly direct the energy down. So we paused here and release the energy down to the lower dantian. Now we're going to take a wider stance. So we're going to inhale and bring the hands up. And then pivot. And we're going to exhale and palm up, and then we're going to turn the palm down and extend the fingers. Fingertips up, then fingertips rotate down. Roll one finger in at a time, make your fist, and draw your hand back in. Pivot to center. Same thing, other side. So we're extending out, slowly turning the hand down. Then open the hand entirely. Fingertips turn up. Wrist rotates so the fingers are facing down. Roll one finger in at a time. Make your fist. Pivot back as you bring your hand back in. We're going to pivot to the other side. And you can come into a lunge here as deeply as feels good. Opening the hand, fingertips up, rotate. Roll them in one at a time, palm up, make your fist, bring the hand back in by your waist. Pivot to the other side. Called these displaying claws, spreading wings. We'll finish to the other side. Open the hands and direct the energy to the lower dantian. You can heel to toe your feet closer together, coming back to horse stance, or just step in. Releasing the hands. Now we're going to explore a form called Archer Pulls Back Bow. We're going to inhale and cross your left hand behind your right. And we're going to slowly start to draw the right hand back, making a fist. You're going to turn and extend the left arm with your hand in like an L. The pointer finger's facing up, thumb is facing out, and the other three fingers are folded down toward the palm. And you're going to pull back as far as you can on the bow with your bent arm. You want a slight bend in the extended arm, however, keeping the shoulders down. Now slowly open the fingers, turn your palm so it's facing the wall your chest is facing. And then slowly let the arm come around. Drop the elbow of the bent arm, and you're going to bring it to the other side and then come back. And now we're going to bring the other arm out, drawing the bow back, and let the palm face forward, circle your hand so it comes all the way around to the other side. Drop the elbow and then pull the bow back and extend with the left. Palm faces out, arm comes around, drop the elbow, bending both, and draw back with the other arm. And you can, when you draw back the bow, squat down a bit, if that's comfortable. And then when you come back to center, rise up and draw back the bow. We'll finish on this side, coming back to center. And then let's expand the arms, gather the big ball of chi out ahead of us, and then condense with the exhalation. And if your feet turned out slightly, you can turn them back to parallel in horse stance. Let's release. This is another lunging form, and this is wave rolls to shore. Take our wider stance, and fingertips will face each other, palms facing the ceiling. Inhale, hands rise up to solar plexus level, palms down, exhale, bend your knees if that's comfortable, and press the energy down. Gather in your hands, inhale. Now we're going to pivot on the left heel, drop your elbows, exhale, push forward like you're pushing something heavy. And then fingertips face each other, palms face your chest. Weight shifts to the back leg, front leg straightens. Exhale, sweep the hands down, the front leg, the extended leg, and then sweep them back up. Inhaling, exhale, elbows drop, push forward into the lunge. Inhale, hands come toward the body. Exhale, sweep down. Inhale, sweep up. And we just keep going. This will be the last on this side. This time we'll actually push out one more time, but when the hands come into the chest, we'll pivot to face forward. Exhale, direct the energy down. Draw it up. Pivot to the other side. Circulating the chi through the body. Expanding it out. Bringing it back to the core. Flows down the spine, down the leg. Comes back up. This will be the last time we push the hands out. Bring them back in and pivot. And then direct the energy to the lower dantian. You can come back to horse stance here. Pause a moment and allow your focus to direct within, observing how the body feels. Now we're going to explore Great Owl looks back. And we're going to let the left hand turn away from the body. And we're watching the hand as it moves through space. So on the inhale, arm comes up. And hand comes above the head, and your right hand comes behind and touches your back as the left hand comes around and touches the outside of your waist. And so we're like this. Back of the hand on the back body, front of the hand on the side body. And you're kind of turning in that direction. And then release the hands away from the body. The other hand comes up. Now, the other hand rises as that hand falls, and we twist and look behind, over the shoulder. Inhale, arms start to rise up, following each other through space, turning and looking back. So you can imagine that Your arms are the wings of the bird. Inhale as they rise. Exhale as you go into the twist. Arms make contact with the body. And you can squat down a little bit as the hands make contact and extend the legs as they rise up if that feels good to you. Of course, this can be explored seated. And we'll finish. And bring the arms up so they're above the head. Pause here, and then energy flows down to the lower dantian. The last form we'll explore today is called directing Qi in a circle. So start with your feet walking strides distance apart in A stance. Keep the right foot facing forward and bring your left heel. We're going to be using the right hand first. And the fingertips, so the palm faces away from the body. Bend your knees slightly. And with the inhale, let the hand start to rise up the midline. Turn your palm up and turn your body. And then bend the elbow so the hand comes up toward the shoulder. And then fingertips flow down, straighten without locking. Palm turns up, turn the body as far as you can to the side, bend the elbow, come back, rotating, and sweep the hand down. This is directing Qi in a circle. So you don't need to do the bend of the knees. You can just do the arm movements or take the bend very gently. And we'll explore one more this side. And when your hand releases down, just let it fall where it rests naturally. Then step forward again, feet are parallel, and then the other foot slides back. And your heels don't need to be touching. They can be a little bit separate, whatever feels more stable for you. And now the other hand, palm turns away a little bit. And we're going to bend the knees and start to draw the fingertips up. And then the palm turns up, rotating, bending the elbow, come back to where you started and sweep the energy down. Exhale as you turn out. Inhale, elbow bends, come back to center. Exhale, sweep the hand down. And one more cycle. Sweeping the hand down and step the feet parallel again. Let's come back to palm, gazing at the hands, rubbing the palms together, shoulders descending toward the earth, breathing freely. Pause. Bring your awareness into your hands, eyes closed or gazing at them. Notice sensation there. And then for a few cycles, we'll expand the ball of Qi and then condense. Gazing at the hands, notice as you move the hands slowly, any sense of connectivity between them. And then as you push your hands back together, the fingers extend a bit more. And you can move the hands in any way you like, stretching the ball in different ways. And then eventually bringing the palms facing each other again. And eventually they'll come back, touching. Eyes closed, fingers relaxed. Breath is soft. Inhale, separate the hands. Exhale, release them. And we'll finish with the bow.